صحبت منه، ولی بعدش امیدوارم که بتونیم با هم گفتگوی داشته باشیم و بیشتر به اصطلاح مسائل رو بررسی کنیم. اگزمپلی لازم باشه بزنیم، اگه صحبتی لازم بکنیم. So the conversation today is about redefining the business paradigm. As a matter of introduction, I have built a number of companies. I have sold a number of companies. I sit on many boards. I was the president of Pecos Angels, which is the largest angel investment entity in the world almost. I've had venture capital firms. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs. So I know a thing or two about failure. I've failed myself. I've seen people fail. I've seen people succeed. So all of these years has got me to a point today to come to this conclusion that there's a better way. So today I want to share that better way, and then you can dispute. You can tell me, hey, this doesn't work. So I want you to do me a favor and hold your judgment for the next 27 minutes. Okay?
Good luck.
Good luck with that. Okay? If you have a serious judgment, write it down. Okay? We're going to get to your judgment at the end. Well, I'll guarantee you I won't dodge your questions. I will, but if we want to get into redefining something, we have to have a clean piece of paper so that we can start looking at it and see how it would work, right? But before we do redefine, I want to define. Okay, so here's a business. Our goal is to make money. What do? We imagine, we make a product, we hire people, we get money maybe from our credit card or maybe from an investor, we sell, and hopefully we make money. We work with our partners. Those are supply chain partners, whoever it is, and then we make money. And when we make money, hopefully we have a better life. Hopefully we have a better life. And some of us actually, and that's why it's the small fund, are generous enough to give back. Right? So we do all of this when we are building a business in order to be happy, to be satisfied, to get something out of it. Right? But the reality of the world is, when we want something, I call it the effect. The effect is, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a home, you want to get married. You have some effect. The effect is, I'm driving this car. It's a Ferrari, or it's a Toyota. It's red, it's blue, it's big, it's small, right? So the effect is for me to drive this car. Maybe if I'm, like me in my past ages, at least people think that I'm wealthy, or I want to pick up girls, I buy a Ferrari, or I have kids, I buy a van or something, because I've got to take her to the soccer game. That's the effect. How does that effect comes to reality? In order for me to have that car, I have to take an action. Go to the dealership, reach into my pocket, write a check, get that car. But before I take an action, I make a decision. Right? It's pretty simple. I make a decision to go buy a car, so I have the effect. Now, what do I do when I make that decision? I make a series of what I call exchange, give and take. I want a Ferrari, it's $250,000. The monthly payment is X. Now, do I pay this $3,000 payment or $4,000 payment, or do I save that and go on a vacation? So I make a series of decisions. There is a give and take. There is an exchange, right? And I do that based on what satisfies me. Right? You buy a Toyota because you think, I don't need this car. I need a safe car. I need it to be, and I like to go buy a toy for my granddaughter. I enjoy that more than doing this. So the real life thing is, there is a cause, which is what satisfies us. Based on that cause, based on that reasoning, we make an exchange. You buy a cup of coffee for $6 at Starbucks. You could be home. It costs you 25 cents, but why the hell do you go to Starbucks? Because it gives you a freedom of being there. There are people, you sit there, you have your laptop and you talk. Or you like the consistency of it. Or you like the fact that they call your name and they make it exactly the way you want it. Or you get together with friends. There is a reason. We all exchange. We all exchange in every decision that we make, which leads to an action and an outcome, an effect. So here's how I want us to redefine things. I want us to go from effect and focus on the cause. And then we'll come back. Let's build businesses based on the cause, not the effect. Because it's very simple. People make decisions based on the cause, not the effect. People. Who are these people? Your employees, your customers, your partners, the investors, the community that you are a part of. They make decisions based on their own cause, their own reasoning, what satisfies them, not what satisfies us, what satisfies them. So let's begin to think about this upside down. Okay? And then we'll drill down and see each one of those areas and see how it might look like. So here's the redefined. We've got the conventional view, which is you get profit. Our journey tonight in the next 20 some odd minutes is to go from that to this, what I call harmonized satisfaction. And we're going to talk about why I call it harmonized satisfaction. Because all of these causes, these reasons, these things that people do is always in flux. It's always changing. Your employees are not the same employees of 5 years ago. Your customers are not the same customers. Your partners are not the same. They're physically the same, but their desires have changed. What they're looking for has changed. And these are all meshed up. They're all changing all the time. They're all changing. So harmonizing becomes a challenge. In this model, the biggest challenge that leaders have is harmonizing this thing. So let's look at an organization. Any organization, doesn't matter if it's a coffee shop, doesn't matter if it's Microsoft, doesn't matter if it's Amazon, if it's in Shanghai or if it's in India or wherever in the world it is. Doesn't matter if it's a graphics company or doesn't matter if we're in the hardcore software business. It is held up as an enterprise based on 5 pillars. Based on 5 pillars. These pillars hold your organization up, erect, functioning. First, the customers. We all know that. The customers. If they're not there, you must buy your product yourself. You don't have a business. Then we have our employees. Yes, it may be your cousin working with you, but it's still an employee. Those are the people that show up, they create productivity, they do things, they decide when you're not there what to do, what not to do. Then you've got your partners, the supply chain partners. From the person who cleans the office to the person that gives you these parts to put together and make that wonderful product. All of those people are needed. Then you have the investors. And by the way, the investor could be you. You have two roles. One is you're leading, the other is you're an investor. As an investor, you have certain responsibility. Am I doing this to get a return for my family? Or am I better off closing the door and doing something else because I'm an investor? You have two roles. So when I say investor, it could be you as the business owner. Or we could get somebody else who is an outside investor who comes and says, hey, here's a check, I'm your partner, let's build this business together. And lastly is the community. It's the community. The last one is often pretty ignored. We get there, remember, we imagined, we built the product, we did all that sort of stuff, we hired, we fired, we got investment, we got, and we started selling, and we made money. And then we thought about the society. We said, hey, let's give something back. Maybe. So it's kind of an afterthought. But the reality is, if you don't have the city, if you don't have the skill set, if you don't have the crimeless space, if you can't do business. It's just part of it. Now you may say, oh, I don't like this place, I'm gonna go live there, or I'm gonna go live there, but you're in, wherever you go, you're in a community. You're somewhere. So these 5 pillars are critical in holding up a business. And as I said, there are always some movement here. That's why we're talking about this harmonizing business. So let's drill down. Let's drill down on each one of those 5 pillars. Number 1 is I want you to think. They say customer is the king. Customer is king. Is there any king that can run an empire without the people? No. It's a foolish thing. I mean, it's important that the customers are important, but I want you to also think about this for a minute. And this is by the way where most people challenge me. So I'm telling you beforehand. You can come back and challenge me on this. Do you sell or do people buy? Do you, in a company, sell something or do people buy? Who has the decision?
The buyer.
The buyer has a decision, but we have sales departments and we get there and say, we made some revenue, look at what we did. But guess what? If they didn't decide to give you money, you will have nothing. So you don't make revenue. They give you revenue. This is an entirely different way of looking at things. This is where we're going to switch in the redefined thing. They give you money. And why do they give you money? What are they doing? That's the effect. They're giving you money. They take an action. They did it based on what? A decision. And they did that decision based on what? Some sort of an exchange. And they made that exchange, why? Because of their cause, because they got satisfied by doing that. The exact reason you bought that car. We're all the same. We are all the same. So let's think about why would customers begin to do this exchange. One is obviously the price, the most obvious. Hey, I like this price. The other may be some sort of a loyalty to the brand. Oh, I like Apple. I like Apple. It may be delivery. It may be delivery. It may be security. Let me give you an example. One night, my wife was buying something, and she gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Amazon, right? And I said, what are you doing? She says, oh, I'm buying this and I'm buying that. And she says, oh, this is a little more expensive, but I'm going to go buy it from Amazon. I saw it over there, but I'm going to go. I said, why do you buy it from Amazon? She said, well, they're going to deliver it. And I'm confident that they're going to deliver it. I said, but it's more expensive. She says, but But if I don't like it, I can return it. They don't ask me why I'm returning it. And by the way, I don't want to give my credit card to another company. They're safe. You see, it wasn't just the price. It wasn't just the price. It's a bundle of satisfaction. A bundle, like a bunch of flowers that I'll bring you. It's a bundle. The bundle is pretty. It's beautiful. That's why we do that. It's not the Ferrari that that person buys. It's the fact that he likes to go to clubs and pull this thing over, and the guy says, "Hey, sir, how are you? Come on in, please." It's it's something else. It's what satisfies them. Could be the price, could be the delivery, could be the brand, could be the confidence, could be the security, could be a bunch of different, it could be the experience. The experience. I just enjoy doing this more than doing it someplace else. It just feels good. It just feels good. Who makes the decision? The buyer. They do it based on their own satisfaction. They do it as a bundle. If we figure out the bundle of their satisfaction and we deliver that, you think they'll buy? Not because of me, not because of the 12 people I have in the sales department, not because of the commission and pounding them. Go, 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 make the calls. They don't buy because you have 12 people calling. They buy because it satisfies them. So let's figure out what that bundle of satisfaction is. If you do it, they'll buy. If I have cancer, you have cure for cancer, I'll sell my home. You don't need to convince me. You don't need to come pound on my door. So the job of a salespeople is to deliver the value, the satisfaction package, present it to the buyer. The buyer makes the decision. Now, this may sound obvious. Let's look at the employees. So you get a job. The company gives you a job offer. It says, you've always done it. Most of you have, I think, have had businesses. You create a job description, you go out and you put it at this place and that place, and you ask, oh, do you have somebody? Do you know somebody? It may be from college or it may be from an experienced person. You create a job description, you say $123,000 is a good salary. And you offer it. And in your mind, you're expecting this person should do A, B, and C, D. And now we all love KPIs, key performance indicators. They should accomplish this and this, and they should be at this level of productivity, and so. Now, what do they want? What do they want? It may be that they want a career path. That's why they're there. I go to Google because it's exciting. It's good on my resume. It may be that the benefits are good. Why? My wife is pregnant. I want a job with insurance. My father is sick. My child is sick. Maybe I want to work from home. Maybe it's the options that matter to me. I'm 24-year-old, I'm in Silicon Valley, and I've got the world in front of me, and I want to make a lot of money. I want to be like Mark Zuckerberg. I want to be like those guys. I want to be living in. So, yeah, I don't need the money now. I'm going to live with Joe, Jack, and Jill in the same place for the next 3 years. It's okay. I don't need the salary. It's okay. Because I'm exchanging. I'm exchanging. I take the benefits. I take the creativity. I take the location. Maybe I have a girlfriend in San Francisco. I'd like to move to San Francisco from Kansas City. Now, I'll take the job. I'll come to San Francisco, and then I'll figure out something. I'll move around. But I'm in love. That's what I'm exchanging, to be with my girlfriend. Now, here's the fact. You don't give them a job, they accept a job. You didn't give them a job. They accept the job based on their own terms, based on their own satisfaction, not yours. They decide at 8 o'clock at night if they're thinking about doing something or creating something. They decide if what productivity is. I don't care what you put on that job description. I don't care. They help do it. They decide. They decide. Now, there's one thing about this idea of cultures. How do you build culture? How do you build culture? If you have aligned satisfaction with the people who you bring in, if they want the same thing in life, if they're consistent, you have a culture. It's not about what you write on a piece of paper on the wall that builds the culture. It's if there's satisfaction, if they're common people, and you see this in a lot of companies. When they start, they have that thing, we call it a thing. There's this momentum, there's building, there's creativity, and it doesn't matter what it is. The IBMs have their own cultures, and those have their own cultures. And you go to McKinsey, they have their own cultures. You go to companies, small companies, you go into a coffee shop, they have different culture. Because if they're gelled together, if they have the same satisfaction, needs, priorities, then you have a culture. The key thing is you have to accept. You have to accept that they make the decisions, not you. We like to be the boss. We love to say, hey, here, look at me, I'm all this, and here's his job description, and this is what you should do. And I have these expectations. And then we got upset why they don't meet that expectation. Because when they got hired, that was not their expectations. It was a different set of expectations. They're meeting theirs, but not yours. So the customers make a decision to give you money. The employees make a decision to give you creativity, productivity, growth, a good product, a good value. And then we have the partners. I've seen two companies become partners in supply chain stuff because they both love the Chicago Bear football. They went to the same school. I've seen companies give another company a pretty good price because they know you're good for the money. They know that I can hire two more people. Yes, my margin is lower, but this would help me grow because I'm going to get money consistently. You are thoughtful. You're a good guy. And I've seen people say, hey, I'm not going to give you the right quality. I'm going to give you the right quality. Although you pay me more, but you never pay a time. And then when I pick up the phone, you're just an a-hole. I don't want to deal with you. So people are at the core of the customers. People are at the core of employees. People are at the core of your partners. They make decisions based on what satisfies them. And again, it could be the volume of business you give them. It could be the price or the margin you give them. It could be the delivery that you give them. It could be the fact that you both went to the same school. That's why, or it could be that you're Apple. And if I put this thing on my logo and my site, guess what? Everybody's going to say, woo, look at this guy. He's made it. They have their own reasons. What do? We say, I'm giving these guys business and I demand. And I negotiate hard. I get a real good price. That guy gave you that price, not because you were such a great negotiator. He figured, I'm going to cut the quality. This guy wouldn't know it. He figures, I'm going to delay this. He figures, I need the cash. I'm broke. Let's get something to this guy. He made that decision based on his own set of satisfaction. So let's talk about investors. I have made investments in companies that I have known that it wouldn't make any money. Stupid. But my mother-in-law died from cancer. I was very close to her. I made that investment because I have an affinity with that cause. Investments are not always about money. I make investments in people I like. I believe in the causes that there's there. No, sure. Some people make investments because of the return. Some are, hey, let me make an Uber and make 100, 200, 5,000 times my money. And some other people say, oh, I don't need that much. I'll give you this, you give me 5%, I'm perfectly fine. Investors have their own definitions. They have their own reasons. We think we give them an opportunity to share our vision. They think I'm giving them my wisdom and experience to achieve that vision, because without me, they can't accomplish it. There's two different sets of views. They make the investment based on their own bundle of satisfaction. You see, customers do it. They're people. Employees do it. They're people. Partners do it, and investors do it. They all behave based on their own set of satisfaction. They bundle up satisfaction. Not based on what you want, based on what they want. They make that decision. The same is for the community. Now, the community gives you a crime-free space to play with. They give you the right skills. They will give you the right environment, the right facilities, the right. Often we ignore them. But guess what? If the community isn't providing you with those things, you have compromised your enterprise. It's not a matter of being philanthropic. It's not that I want to give something to the community. If you have a healthy community, a society that you work with it, guess what? You're going to do much better. And they want their own needs. And guess what? Some of the needs that they have has to do with you being able to provide taxation, provide good people, provide all those sort of stuff. But guess what? You know what they're doing? They're giving good homes to our employees, which is what they want. So you're satisfying what the employees want. I get a job, so I don't want to get a job and go live in Watts and people are shooting at me all the time. You get better people, more skilled people. It's not being philanthropic. You're not giving back because you're such a hotshot. The society is another pillar, most often ignored. So there are 5 pillars. 5 pillars. The interesting thing is, these satisfaction bundles are always changing. They're always changing. 5 years ago, nobody wanted to work from home and you could get people to, now they want to work from home. Okay. The Gen Z has an entirely different view of how to work and when not to work. They're still the same 22-year-old, but this 22-year-old is very different than the other 22-year-old that you were dealing with. So it's not that, oh, my target market is this age group. This age group is no longer the same age group, although they're the same age group. They're not the same. Your employees, what they need is different. Your customers, what they need is different. You know, I call it the 8-second challenge. You go to Google, now it's even worse, it's less, it's sub-seconds. When you go to the chat GPTs of the thing, and you put something in, and it gives you an answer immediately. Right? Now we want everything immediately. I buy this thing, it's got to be immediate. I do this, and it's got to be immediate. So this is a challenge that we have. Things outside of our control are changing. People are changing. Their satisfaction needs are changing. So there is a need to harmonize all of this stuff. Oh, okay. 5 years ago, interest rate was about 3%. If I give you 5, you would be pretty happy. Today, you want 9. You're not happy with 3. Guess what? Now, what happened to my margins? Okay, so I got to get that from somewhere. Who do I get it from? Do I cut my employees' salary? Do I increase my price to the customer and make that imbalance because they're unhappy now? They were getting this thing for $1. Now I'm gonna ask them, this guy, my investor needs another 10%, let's pay $1.10. They're unhappy. These things are always changing. Employees have different needs, and it's in flux. Customers are in flux. Partners are in flux. The society is in flux. And investors are in flux. So that's pretty interesting. It's not a single thing to optimize. It's not a formula that we could say, okay, I got this. Here's the satisfaction here. I'm going to give 2 pounds of this to this guy and 7 to this, and everything is hunky dory. Let's sit behind the car and let's drive it. Doesn't work that way because things are changing. So here's what we redefined. We said, let's go from effect to cause. So we begin with the cause. We'll say, let's figure out what is it that makes you as the buyer pull the trigger? What is it that as an employee will make you satisfied? And let's agree that I can't give you everything because this is in flux. Now, I'll give you an example. I have someone who, I'm not on the board of his company. He just likes my work, and then we were having a drink actually close by here. What is that? Quaker Hill or Quick Hill? Quill Hill. There's a wine shop there, and I started talking about these 5 pillars. And he said, "I love this," and he has about 500 employees, global company. He went in 2 days, he changed his website. And he said, we're not a company, we are a platform. We are a platform with 5 pillars. And we're going to satisfy these 5 pillars. When he sits with his customers, he said, sometimes I have to satisfy others in order to get you satisfied. Because we're all in harmony. He does the same thing with his partners. In 9 months, he has increased his revenue twofold. And his profitability is up. It's simple. If I give you what you want, and if I explain that I can't give it to you because I've got these other 5 pillars, people would say, yeah, I understand. You give me 6 things, I'll give you the rest. Let me give you an example. You want to take your family out to dinner. You want to take your family out to dinner, right? The kids are here, everybody's here, the grandkids and all that. You want to take them out to the family. But you've got this guy Sid. He can't walk properly and he can't eat meat. Okay, this guy's got uric acid up the kazoo. He's just not good. And she doesn't like fish, and it's too far and it's raining. Okay, you go out and you look at some restaurants and you look at the ratings and blah blah, and you say, this place is closer. This one has both fish and steak, so I satisfy everybody. And this guy said who can't walk. It's nice, and so you make a decision based on all those parameters, and maybe you say, every time I've gone in here, the service is delayed, but it's okay. It's a little bit late, but everybody's happy, everybody's close. You know what you just did? You created a bundle of satisfaction that the compromise of it's late, the rating of the restaurant, what meat or fish or whatever, the people that you're taking there, you just created something by doing a series of compromises. I call exchanges. And guess what? You then exchange with the person who served you. They had their own reasons. They like you to be happy, and that's how you get them some tip. And they want to be service oriented. And the owner was. Everybody was involved with their own reasons in this one simple decision of you going to a restaurant. If you look at anything that you do in life, even in your personal life, this applies. I say every one of us is an enterprise. We are an enterprise. We have incoming, we have outgoing, we do things, we satisfy the people around us, we satisfy our parents, our kids, our friends in one way or another. And we can do it by understanding what it is that satisfies them. And your kids would understand that sometimes you can't go to every baseball game if they know why. Your wife, your husband would understand, your boss would understand. But if you're the boss, and you believe that I've got this job to this person, and he is my employee, if you think at 10 o'clock in the morning when his kid or her kid is sick, she is not thinking about that kid, you're a fool. She is. She has every right to, because you have every right to, because she is an individual. And if that person, the same person, at 7:30 at night says, work-life balance, I'm going to close my shop, I'm going to turn off my creativity. That person is also an idiot, compromising his or her life because she can be more creative, she can build more. But the way we've designed this is we've left the cause, we're focused on the profit, and we hope things would happen. When we actually don't have any control decision on the profit or the revenue. We have no control over the revenue, we have no control over the profits, we have no control over productivity, we have no control over, we think we do, but we don't. But we don't. So if I wanted to kind of put all that together, on one side you have a good idea, on the other side you have the effect, which is what we were looking for. We want to make a living, we want to have a business, we want to have a good life, we want to do all the great things. In the middle, we have this thing we call execution. In that execution part, we have to harmonize what? We have to harmonize the people, our employees, our partners, society, and the investors. Always. Give and take. What do we give? And that engine creates the value. And the value is what we deliver to the customer. And then there is an exchange there. And if we do that right, we'll get the effect. And the effect is sustained success. And the effect is, it may be this much of profit or that much profit, but it is competitive advantage that is sustainable, and it's evolving, and it's changing because it's always relevant. It's not relevant episodically. Now, I'm going to shut up in a minute, and we can discuss about examples of companies that you all may know that we can see how they have messed this up or how they've used it. We'll drill down on it. But let me finish up by saying, here's what we did. We went from conventional view where we imagined, we innovated, we created, we sold, we employed, to a view that is slightly different, which is we satisfy the changing reasons and they choose. And as they choose, we're satisfied because of their choice. So what is the bundle of satisfaction as an owner? That I'm important too. Guess what? We talked about those 5 pillars, but guess what? I'm doing all of this for a reason as a company. But if all of those are done, then I'm satisfied. But this harmonization of all the time creates a significant problem. It requires a mind shift. So how do you lead? How do you lead? You got to lead like a conductor. A symphony conductor, I call it. In a symphony, you have the trumpets over here, and you have the violins over here, and you've got the drums over here, and you've got maybe a choir over here, you've got all this stuff. First of all, we don't give 10 minutes to the drums, and 10 minutes to the guitars, and 10 minutes to the violins. So this balance of things, it doesn't work. The beauty of it is this blending of things. That's when you make music. When they blend and they go up and down, and there's a give and take between the notes and between the music. The role of a conductor is to identify and be aware of be mindful of the satisfaction bundles. Now, we can't satisfy everybody. We can't be everything to everybody. But we can be creating the value in that engine that satisfies this set of bundles of satisfaction for each one of these groups and evolve and change them as we see fit all the time. So let me finish with this. My belief is, and yours may be different, that there is a compounding effect of growth and prosperity in this model. So some of you who have investments, you know that if you put the money in somewhere, the first year you get 10%, and then you get a compounding effect that on that 10%, so the first year is $1, then it becomes $1.10, and then the next year you get 10% on the $1.10. Then the next year you get, so it compounds, it affects. There is a compounding effect in this model because together the three, when they work, they make music. When you have them in pieces, then you're running from one thing to another because you're solving isolated problems. But that requires a complete mind shift to see it in a different way, to see it from the perspective of those people who make a decision. So the belief is, if you focus on the cause, there's something bigger, a compounding effect that created. The goal is to focus on the cause, on the reasons, on the bundle of satisfactions. And the leader's role is essentially synchronizing, harmonizing these things that are always moving. If my employee is satisfied, they will create. If my customer gets satisfied, they will buy. If my partner is satisfied, they will give me the best product at the best quality. If my investor is satisfied, they'll reach into their pocket and give me more money. They want me to win. And if my community is satisfied, they will support me to accomplish things. And this is not a one-time deal. This is an evolving process. It's all the time. So with that, now challenge whatever you wish.
Well, I tell you what, my husband's gonna get a very big kiss tonight.
Why?
Because he was the one that told me to bring you on the NIPOC. I'm amazed.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm amazed.
Should I give you my bank account? You can deposit.
No, I'm amazed that you're